Welcome everyone to another crypto happy hour. Today we're going to go ahead and discuss a number of topics again, so I hope you guys all have a nice cold drink ready. Hope everyone's had a good week, or if you've had a stressful week, I hope you make that drink just a little bit stiffer. But either way, sit back, relax, and we're going to get into it today. So before I begin, I just want to remind everyone that I'm a huge advocate here of market cipher, right? If you're trading crypto, if you're trying to get better at crypto, definitely check out market cipher trading. It has changed everything. That being said, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the events in the news before we get into what's going on here today. Um, a lot of people, had the dip happen, and a lot of people weren't ready for it. A lot of folks think that it's due to some FUD that came out around Bitfinex or Bittrex article, I believe it was, that basically claimed that there was a $21 and some cent double spend. Um, First and foremost, I mean, I saw that reported on Business Insider, and my first thoughts were, "Wow, this journalist really didn't understand the core fundamentals of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin white paper." I really feel that that's something that people should really understand, and make sure that they're comfortable with, because the reality is that there was no double spend. There was never at risk. The network was never at risk of that. What was described with a shorter chain being created because two blocks were mined at the exact same time, which happens every 2 days, by the way. This happens often, and it was designed to happen. When you have a decentralized architecture, there's inherently going to be race conditions. But what they're saying happened is that there were two chains created, and then there was effectively two sets of $21, and that wasn't the case. What happens in that example is that the longer chain is the active chain, and that's the one that everybody validates against. So they might have a copy of the chain up to X block number, but it's not valid on the real blockchain. And this is exactly what the consensus mechanism, in blockchain is all about. It's how do we resolve these conflicts and keep a decentral ledger up to date. So for anybody who's worried about it, thinks that there's a whole bunch of concern and I need to get my money out, don't. The reality is that this is just the network functioning as designed, and some quite honestly poor reporting. Um, so with that being said, there's also a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, the new folks in Biden's cabinet are very anti-crypto." Um, Again, I wouldn't be too worried about that. Crypto it extends far beyond just the United States. I actually think that the more the government fights crypto, the more they're going to lose ground, and the harder their job is going to be. Really, it's time to talk about embracing it, and that also comes with regulations. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh well, there's dexes and this and that, but let's be honest, if we want the space to mature, we're gonna need some solid regulation around things. There's just gonna have to be some rules of engagement, whether we like it or not. So with that, real quick recap. Last week we talked about TradingView and the indicator package that I am using called Market Cipher. Again, I can't stress enough how helpful this has been. So much so that it has even changed, how I approach trading from an automation standpoint. So real quick, Market Cipher is telling us with, momentum waves, money flow, VWAP, a number of other indicators. I believe it's about 14 and one here. Effectively, when to buy, when to sell, and what the intensity of the move might be. Uh, so with that information, right, we're able to kind of codify that and make sure that we can apply that to things like automated trading bots that I have here. So this is a bot that I've been using since about early 2018. I think I purchased in January of 2018 or February of 2018. And honestly, Profit Trailer has been kind of my secret weapon. Um, I'm in a group mining pool, and a lot of folks have kind of wondered how I've always been able to, upgrade GPUs and have higher returns than maybe some of the other people who were, just mining their coins and then, holding them in a wallet. So this is the quote unquote secret sauce today. So what I've got is a live bot here on the left, and then I've got a test bot here on the right, and they're both running the exact same config. This bot on the right started with $20,000 on paper balance. This bot over here started with 18,100. So with that, the one difference between the two bots is the fact that the bot on the left that has the real money going also has been integrated into the Market Cipher package, right? And what I'm doing there is not making buys and sells with Market Cipher. I'm actually going in and controlling when the bot is allowed to buy and sell based on, again, the momentum and the trend of the chart structure. So really what it's doing is that when we see a red X right here, which means that there's going to be, a downward price move, at that point the bot goes into what's called a sell only mode. All right, so it doesn't clear out any of its existing bags, a bag being a coin pair that it's watching. So we see that right now my bot has some ADA, some XMR, some DOT, some Ocean, some Ethereum, some Litecoin, right? It's got all these different coins going, right? Because let's be honest, on my own, can't watch as many trades comfortably and as accurately. So, I use something like Profit Trailer to kind of help me out and extend, where I can put money. So what we're doing is that when we see a red X right here, which means that the price is going to move down, right? We put the bot into a state called sell only mode, right? And this basically means that it can try to sell what it still has, right? But it's not going to try to buy anything else on top of it. So we're not going to attempt to, in trading terms, catch a falling knife, right? So what we're going to look for though is one on Market Cipher B. We're actually to catch the bottom of the trend here. We need to then incorporate the momentum, right? So this is why we start by looking at the trend and the chart structure from Market Cipher A, which is built to look at trend. But to figure out where do we stop, well, that's where Market Cipher B comes into play here, because now we know, right? Thanks to Market Cipher here, hey, the momentum has peaked on the downward slide, so we're probably safe to release sell only mode and let the bot buy again, right? So now, what happens when we get some of these other symbols, right? A blue triangle is a reversal. What we've found through some back testing is that when we get a blue triangle, that's really good to release sell only mode if the market's in a very bad downward position. Think something like, 2018 market conditions where it was just, new lows every day type thing from the old all-time high, right? And a real long slide for months. So what we're trying to do is prevent the bot from, buying anything during that time, and then also we're trying to prevent, holding bad bags. So if it gets bad enough, Market Cipher gives us something called a blood diamond, right? This is a really bad day. So when we get this blood diamond, we then not only do a sell only mode, but we'll actually do a panic sell, right? Where the bot will attempt to immediately sell at market value all the bags, even if they're down, right? One of the advantages of a bot normally is it won't sell while the coin is down or negative, right? It waits for the coin to go positive and hit your threshold before it makes a sale, right? So all of that being said, when we get this panic sell right here, we basically cut bait and put everything back to US dollars so that our profits are preserved during a slide. Now, with the big dip that we just had here, right, back on the 21st, where we went down and touched to, what is this, like 28.8, right? The bot in this one actually did a panic sell here. Okay. So I took a loss that day, right? And I was at like 400 and something dollar profits, and it cut me back down to like $187 on the day, right? In fact, let me go into my stats here. Yeah, that was back here on the 21st, right? Or on the 20th right there. So that was the day that I took that big hit. But if we look, I'm still profitable because I'm able to stop the bot from trading when it shouldn't, right? By again looking at trend and momentum. Now, alternatively, if we look at this bot running the exact same settings, exact same server, same network latency, all of that, right? I started this one with 20,000, and without the market cipher integration here, I'm actually down about $1,500 due to the market slippage. But worse than that, if I go in here and I look at the DCA bags, I'm in profit in a couple of my trades here. And more importantly, I've been making money today, right? Whereas over here, I've made a little bit of money. But let's look at the bag sizes and how far down we are. And in many cases, these bags were as far down as, 10 to 20% without, the additional help there. So that in previous trading would be something that I would look at taking a manual stop loss on, unless it was a very popular coin that I knew was going to recover within a week or two. But generally, I would cut bait and, sell off the coin at a loss so that my funds were free to go into another trade, right? So we can see very clearly here that, we on first pass, right, with that big dip, preserved about 50% of our profits, or, we mitigated 50% loss just by having an extra set of eyes through Market Cipher here. And to be clear, like this is custom code. It's not just me that did this. I'm thankful to be part of an amazing team of some very talented individuals who, were all able to kind of set aside their differences and work together on an amazing common goal. And we've got some other really cool things coming too. Um, but that being said, I mean, this is the results of that hard work and those late nights, and all of us in our little group of four, we all have day jobs. We all have families, so it's pretty cool to see that on day one we were presented with perfect market conditions for a test, but also, more importantly, the strategy did exactly what it was designed to do. And in the couple little areas after analyzing each trade that we looked at, we've already made some enhancements to it. And we think that profit preservation should be upwards of like 75, 80% now. So I'm actually slacking. I'm supposed to be doing some of the QA on that code right now. And instead, I'm up here streaming to YouTube and drinking like an idiot. So cheers. Now, a lot of people have asked me, there's a lot of bot choices out there. Why do you use Profit Trailer? First and foremost, I really like the support community that comes with it. Anytime myself or somebody that uses Profit Trailer in my group has asked a question on their Discord, we've typically gotten answers within a couple hours, if not a day at most. It's been very supportive. There's pretty good documentation around Profit Trailer. If the Profit Trailer team is listening, maybe slightly better API documentation, please. But otherwise, great stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, the other nice thing about Profit Trailer is that my day job is that in the security space. I really like the fact that I get to run Profit Trailer on my own server and not a cloud service. So I get to maintain full control of the strategy. I get to maintain full control of the API interface. I get to maintain control of the API setup at the exchange side. So like, on my API key, I don't have to enable withdrawals for this to work. I just have to enable trades. And that actually makes me feel better and safer about, putting some money up there on an internet accessible site. So that all being said, the fact that then I can also tune the strategies as far as, Profit Trailer supports, I really like it. And I've tried out Gunbot, I've tried out Gecko, I've tried out Crypto Hopper, I've tried out 3 commas now. I've tried out Hasbot. I didn't find the settings and supportability combo that Profit Trailer offers. The one bot I haven't looked at yet, and I need to, just because I've got to give the guy his due, is Crypto Crow and his Crow Trader. I was actually introduced to Profit Trailer by watching his videos back in 2018. So if you hear this, man, thank you. You made me a lot of money with this tip, and I hope to one day be able to help other people make a lot of money. But if we look here, my ADA trade, my Cardano trade, is actually up. It's up 1.22%. I'm doing $2,000 initial buys, and then after the little fees and everything, it works out to about 1991 and change. So right now I'm in profit at $2,016 or 1.3%. And if we go in and look at the sales log here, we'll see that the strategy is just really good at kind of nickeling and diming the market, right? So another fun stat is that if we go in and look at our advanced stats, we can see the sales distribution as well. So there were 4 manual sells, which are equivalent to panic sells, right? Then we've got our normal gain strategy for selling a coin at a gain versus a loss, right? You always want to buy low, sell high. So we do that the vast majority of the time, right? Now these SO1 and SO2, think of these as take profit extensions when you have a really good rip on a coin. In other words, instead of a coin hitting a minimum profit threshold of like 0.25%, instead it's going to say at 2%, we're going to sell off half the bag because now you've made your minimum 1% on the overall trade and you're going to lock that profit in. So that's now guaranteed to be a winning trade for you, right? The SO2s are where it gets interesting. Let's say a coin shoots up instead of 2%, 5 or 6% really quick in, 1 or 2 candles. Right, that's when the bot will hold that, and then when it peaks up and dips down ever so slightly, with the equivalent of like a trailing stop loss, it then sells those. We don't get those often, but when we do, ooh, they're nice. But as we can see, the strat kind of just does what it's supposed to do. It goes in, it makes buys and sells based on, market structure. And really the biggest reason that I like this system is that it takes a lot of emotion out of the equation. Um, let's face it, like emotions are probably the biggest enemy of any trader out there. So being able to algorithmically take some of that out really helps preserve a lot of profit, you know. Um, so with that, we can see, coins that are my most profitable to trade, my least profitable to trade. One of the things I do is every month I'll go in and I'll look at what were, my 3 least profitable coins, and I'll probably remove them from the list and play some other coins that are looking a little better. My overall goal here is to keep a list of about 20 different coins, up to 20 coins, that the bot can choose from, and then play 6 of them at a time. Right. So this way I really limit my risk exposure and all of that kind of stuff. Right. On top of that, this 18K is not all of my crypto. This represents, we'll just say sub 20% of my overall crypto. So, I'm kind of limiting my risk through my exposure, with raw dollars there, right? So if we think about this, right, for a minute here, let's just say this is 20%, right, of my stack, and then out of that, I'm using $2,000 or 1% of that, 1 to 2% of my overall crypto per trade. That's how little I'm trying to expose myself on these trades. Some people will say, "Oh, well, $2,000 trades." Well, there's a reason I'm at that number, right? There's a formula behind it. I don't want to risk more than 1 to 2% on a trade because I don't want to end up, being out of the market if it goes south. You never want to really put all your money on one trade. It's very much a high risk thing to do. So we try to stick and guide folks who are asking for help down to about 1 to 2%, right? We want to keep it light, enough that you have skin in the game, enough that you're making some good money, but at the same time, not anything that if it does go south and we have, four panic sells, six panic sells at once, you're gonna, be thinking about life choices. We want it to be something where, yeah, okay, that sucked, but tomorrow's gonna be a better day since today was a red day, right? I see I've got a number of folks in the chat and some viewers out there. If you guys have questions, feel free to shoot them over. I'm just kind of doing a little show and tell right here, um, and talking through my strategies. So I'm super happy to answer any questions folks might have. Happy hours are much more fun with you know people talking at you or talking back to you. All right. So the next point I want to make is even though this is a quote unquote trade bot, I don't ever recommend 100% automation. In fact, when people, ask for my help on this, I tell them that it does take care and feeding every day. I'm pretty, upfront about that. I let them know that it doesn't take a lot, but it does take a little bit every day. And on bad days when the day, the market's just sliding, yeah, there's a lot less to do, and it's probably healthier to not look, right? Let's just be honest. I mean, beating ourselves up like that is not a great thing to do. But, days when the market's sideways, there might be, 15 minutes broken up to 3 5-minute segments throughout the day that I'll do something in the bot. And what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll look at my monitor page, which is my core dashboard. I see kind of what's my profit today, what's my total current value, but I also look at how much money is available sitting out of a trade right now. All right. So basically, I have, what is that, $3,400 that's not being used at the moment. So then I go over to my DCA screen, right? And here we see that I've got, some green trades that are currently in profit, some trades that are not, but close. Typically where I start is the bottom of the list, right? So in this case, Litecoin. And the first thing I do is I'll then pull up the Litecoin chart on the hourly time frame up here and look at it with Market Cipher. So I come in here. Let me just adjust my scale a little bit. And I can see that we have kind of peaked up. We've come back down. We've gotten a red X. We're in red money flow. Even though we're at the bottom of the BB band right here, I don't really think that this would be a good buy right now. I'm going to give this a little bit more time and, kind of make sure that that things are looking good. But you never make a decision off of one time frame. One of the rules that I was taught and that's really helped me, and I try to tell other people, is that, you want to confirm your trade on at least 3 time frames. I think if more people did that were new to trading, they would be able to kind of really understand how the market structures line up and also make better overall decisions. So we'll go from the 1 hour, we'll check out the 30-minute, right? And 30-minute shows we may have bottomed, but we're possibly starting to come back up. So that might be a little interesting because we've also got a little hit of a green money wave right here, but we are dipped back into red. So let's go down to the 15-minute and see what that shows us. So here we've definitely dipped down. We bottomed out. It looks like we hit a pretty solid little support there. And we're starting to come back up, but the red money flow does kind of worry me a little bit. So let's take a look down at the 5-minute. And the 5-minute is what the strategy that I'm using in Profit Trailer is based on. It trades primarily on 5-minute candle timeframes. So if I take a look here, we're actually at the top BB band and coming back down. So this is definitely not a good one to buy right now. We're not going to be doing ourselves kind of any favors if we, you know, um, if we buy right here, because the whole point is to bring down our total average cost. So then I'll do that same exact thing with the next coin at the list, Ethereum, right? So Ethereum start back up at the hourly here. We'll make that chart look a little bit nicer for everyone. So definitely been in downward structure, hit the top band. Looks like we might be bouncing off of the middle BB band. We are coming back up into potentially positive money flow, but we need to look a little closer and take a better look here. Okay, so a little bit of money flow. We've definitely got a green buy dot on the 30 minute here from Market Cipher and candle with a little top hat on it there. Let's peek down at the 15. So we're seeing a little bit more money flow here. Definitely still getting the buy. And let's peek down at the 5. So we're at the top BB band here. A little bit of money flow came out. I may look at this again in about 20 or 30 minutes and see if we're at the bottom BB band. And that at that point, I would potentially do a manual DCA buy right here and effectively double my position size, but cut my percentages in half. Right. So the idea is I have to recover half as much now to be into a profitable trade. And full disclosure, I'm using round numbers because my wife came home with these Truly drinks, and they're kind of amazing. I don't care what people say about them; they're good. So let's see here. So let's look at. We'll do the same thing on Ocean real quick. It's down less than 1%, so I probably wouldn't DCA buy on this one, just because it's already kind of close to recovery here. And ADA is just kind of sitting there. What's ADA doing? Let's take a look at Cardano. Profit was up a minute ago. Yeah, we might be bouncing off of the middle BB to go back up. That could be good. We'll have to see though. We are in a red money flow, so I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Just check a couple other time frames. Move this over here. Let's get some background music going here. All right. So we've hit the bottom BB band. We're coming back up. We're in a green money flow, and let's face it, Cardano's pretty hot right now. Not quite as hot as DOT, but like a lot of people are pushing Cardano. Yeah, Slider. The those like truly hard seltzers, total white girl wasted drink. But you know, it's good, man, and I've got nowhere to be because, COVID. So it is what it is. All right. So yeah, Cardano looks like it could be overall good. Take a look here. Bottomed out, double reversal. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty solid reversal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cardano's gonna go back up here a little bit. We're looking we're looking pretty good down here. Hey, look at that. Yeah, we were down at 0.62, now we're back up over 1%. So while I was sitting there analyzing the charts, the bot's sitting there doing my job for me. See, so yeah, Link is super hot. We might have to let's take a manual look at Link there, legendary brain cake. Link on the hourly. I'm just gonna back it up. I mean, That's all right. I know a lot of people like to use the term shitcoin when they talk about alts. Link is most definitely not a shitcoin. Most shitcoins, I'll show you here. Let me pick on one. Like here, Curve. That's a shitcoin, right? Starts off high, drops way down, right? And then now it's starting to come back up. Honestly, when somebody asks me about a coin, I'll tell everybody here on YouTube because like it's kind of funny and nobody believes me. But if your daily chart on X coin that you're excited about doesn't look better than Dogecoin, like I can't take it seriously. Because if you can't beat the meme coin, like come on, is your project even real? I mean, I know that that's kind of like a little bit controversial or whatever, but it's one of many tests I'll use, right? And I mean, it's honestly worked out really well in keeping me and a few of my friends out of a lot of garbage. So let's see here. Uh, nice. We got some guys drinking Guinness. Yeah, that would be nice if that happened, Legendary. I actually hold a little bit of Link. I put $1,000 on it a while back, and I just kind of let it ride, and we'll see where it's at the end of the bull run type thing. I've heard some people though talking about Link could be on its way to what was it? I want to say a $60 price target. Some people were calling February 7th. I don't know how real that is. I'm kind of just marking it on the Google Calendar for the heck of it to see, like, hey, does that hold any water? Um, but either way, I mean, I don't foresee losing much, if anything at all. In fact, I kind of foresee myself gaining on Link. Let's see here. Salamander had a question. Salamander, Investopedia is definitely. Let me turn this music down so you can hear me real good. Doing your homework is super important, right? Um, Investopedia is a really great resource. It is great at breaking down all of the traditional indicators, terms, things like that. Also, if you can get onto an exchange, not with real money, but just paper trading, marking your position down in like a trade journal for a little bit as you're testing out ideas, that's a really good low risk way to go about it. Then when you're up and you're hitting a lot of trades and you're feeling confident in your abilities, start with the smallest size trade that you can, right? It's it's one of those things where trading is kind of funny because almost it's almost counterintuitive in that one of the worst things that can happen to a new trader is if they hit a really big trade, like within their first 3 or 5 trades, because it's almost guaranteed to get them addicted and looking to top that next trade. Um, so it's one of those things that if you're new to trading, I really caution you to try and check your feelings. I would encourage folks to really kind of make sure that if they don't have good self control, good impulse control, maybe as you're writing down your trades, keep track daily of your emotional state. Just real quick paragraph. How are you feeling about the market? How did a move make you feel? How did a trade make you feel? Those types of practices over time will help you build good habits. Another thing is that I talk about how great Market Cipher is, and it really is. It's probably one of the best trading tools I've ever, used and spent money on. I mean, to the point that I would say it's damn near life changing once you figure it out. That being said, I had been trading for a couple of years before I got into Market Cipher. And just having Market Cipher doesn't guarantee that you won't lose because you can misinterpret it. You cannot check your trades on multiple time frames and still, have a losing trade with fancy tools, right? And that's why I kind of stress the importance of risk management, risk mitigation, with these tiny 1% trades. I know that that doesn't sound very exciting, but compounded over time, it gets exciting. And more importantly, when you look at your actual risk exposure that you're taking versus what you're gaining, you almost start to use that as more of the guiding rule versus how much are you gaining. As long as you're gaining, like you're already beating 90% of traders out there who trade crypto. And that's just the reality is that 90% of people who trade crypto lose, right? I have to tell people this every time too that crypto trading is super high risk. Cryptocurrency is probably one of the highest risk asset categories you can trade. Beyond all of its deflationary value with Bitcoin and all of that stuff, I mean, the reality is you talk to any pro investor and Bitcoin's in the high risk category, plain and simple. So it's really important to make sure that, learning to trade doesn't then require that you trade for 2 years to break even. That's not going to be very fun. But great question, Salamander. Thank you. Yeah, exactly, Legendary. It's a great tool, but it's not going to trade for you at all. Um, it, and to that end, like I'm not trading when I'm making my buys and sells off of Market Cipher. I'm using Market Cipher for trend analysis. I'm using Market Cipher for momentum analysis, and helping that decide whether or not I should be trading right now, or I should let my bot be trading right now, right, with its internal logic. But the internal logic of the bot trades on a very different setup than Market Cipher. There are people out there who find success by just doing, green dot, red dot type things. But a lot of people more often, end up losing when they try that stuff. Because if trading was really that simple, hell, everybody would do it. And not, 90% of traders wouldn't lose money, but they do. That's just the reality. Okay, so that's most of what I wanted to talk about. Another fun thing I'll maybe touch on real quick is how to kind of verify trades on the charts. So one of the nice features of Profit Trailer is that you can click a coin name and it takes you right up to the exchange, right? And then you can go right into the chart. And I'm trading on the 5 minute time scale here, right? So let me. Come on, why isn't it letting me change down? Here we go. They just moved it around. Okay, so on the 5 minute time scale, what I'm really looking for is my RSI to be way down here low at what's considered, oversold territory. And then I want, the candles to be towards the bottom of the BB line, right? There's a lot of other controls in my bot and in my settings. I'm not going to tell people what those are because truthfully, we sell that, and that logic was, obtained over a lot of, we'll just call it a lot of expensive R&D, learning how to best implement all of these things together. But the real short version of it for YouTube is that when these things both happen together, the RSI being down and the BB being down, that's when it makes a buy, right? So if I go back to my bot right here and we look at the timestamp, this was today at 16:49. So I look at 16:40, 16:50, right? So we sold right here. We missed out on a little bit of profit, but we also probably sensed this momentum trail off right here. We had a pretty big downward tail, right? Pretty big topside hat, and then we got into a little red. So I understand why the bot kind of did that there, right? But that's exactly what people need to do when they're developing strategies is they'll go in and they'll track their buys and their sells right back onto the chart so that they can, plot that stuff and then figure out how to best adjust their strategy to handle different market conditions. So with all of that being said, this is how, I'm basically using a trading assistant called Profit Trailer in conjunction with, manual charting tools to generate some extra profit and some fun gains. If we look right here, I mean today's a pretty good day. 2%. That's nothing to shake a stick at. I started with 18.1 a few days ago. I'm up to 18.6. So $500 is $500. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that could probably use that are very negatively impacted by COVID and economic situations and all that stuff going on in the world. But yeah, with that, I'm going to give it another couple minutes for some questions here, and then we'll get a little bit more of this freemusicarchive.org going. And we'll see what questions guys have. Otherwise, we'll call it a night and hope everybody has an amazing weekend. Let's see here. So, yeah, legendary. Good comments there, man. Strong fundamentals, great educations. Risk management is huge. It's all important. It's all part of the puzzle. And learning how much to trust each of those things, right? When to have your own like personal overrides and biases. It's really important to see all of that stuff. Um, yeah, I would also agree that psychology is the hardest part. That impulse control. Oh my God, it's going down, and how far is it gonna? It's gonna slide. All that kind of stuff. Um, but with that, any other questions? Thanks for the tip there, Slider, that the music was down too low. That should be a bit better for folks. But if anybody has any questions, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Without Market Cipher, it still makes a little bit of money, on the daily, but loses overall at the moment because the market's down a little bit. Versus, using something like a little bit of manual assistance, right? A little bit of human intervention, not 100% automation, and all of a sudden you've got some pretty decent gains in just a few days of time. So just to show folks here, I mean, we're really this bot was started up, with its current setup about 3 days ago. And I'll go to the same screen over here just so folks can kind of see their apples to apples. But right here, started on the 19th. Yeah, that's right. I started this one the day before. So this one got beat up a little bit more with the dip too. But it's definitely a fun system. I've shown this to a few pro traders, and they're pretty impressed by it all because it's a good combination of, again, intuition, automation, and good market signals. All right, well, I think right there we'll go ahead and we'll call it a stream. Thanks everyone who came and joined for this little crypto happy hour. If there are topics you want to cover next week, send me a message, drop me a line, a comment, whatever. Super happy to jump into things. And if there's anything that you have questions on, I'll try to get to those as I can. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Safe trading out there. And, remember, the golden rule of crypto is not your keys, not your coins. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks.